It's Monday, July 14th. In the headlines, Global Jamaica Diaspora Council proposes consular support and legal aid for vulnerable Jamaicans living abroad. In business news, automated teller machine usage increases. Regionally, Barbados' foreign minister addresses concerns over CARICOM free movement. And in sports, Windies captain not pleased with quality of Sabina Park lights. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, GJDC, for the Northeast United States, has sent the government a series of proposals to strengthen consular support and legal aid for undocumented and vulnerable Jamaicans living abroad. The GJDC representative for Northeast U.S., Michelle Tulloch-Neal, says the proposals were dispatched to Senior Director for Diaspora Affairs at the Foreign Ministry, Lloyd Wilkes. She told Jamaica Observer the group has highlighted 5 specific areas of concerns identified for the government's immediate focus. These include the enhancement of a formal diaspora policy framework that institutionalizes diaspora engagement in national planning, the strengthening of consular support and legal aid for undocumented and vulnerable Jamaicans residing abroad, and an effort to prioritize diaspora-led initiatives. Also among the set of proposals are the need for the enhancement of educational partnerships and an expansion of collaboration in healthcare. 6,000 farmers are set to benefit from the government's Pedro Plains Irrigation Expansion project in Short Hill, St. Elizabeth. Speaking at the recent launch, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, said the project has been designated a national development project, allowing for greater speed and efficiency in its execution.
The intake and the initial pipelines to our first reservoir will take us about 2 years. But we are starting that work this year. In fact, we're going to be setting up the project site. We have learned a lot of lessons from the Essex Valley and the SPAD. And that is why Cabinet has already approved that the Pedro Plains Irrigation Project is a national developmental project, and as such, we can treat directly with contractors so that we can move quickly.
The project will cost about $26 billion, bringing 4,000 hectares of fertile land in South St. Elizabeth under irrigation.
And it will have the construction of a new intake structure on the Black River, which will be constructed at Lacovia, where we will secure a reliable water source. We will place reservoirs and pumping stations to ensure optimal flow throughout the system. It will have a pressurized trunk main and a pipe network that will deliver water directly to farm gates.
Minister Green says the project marks a new phase in agricultural development.
We're going to build a fit-for-purpose operations and maintenance facility for the National Irrigation Commission. So they're going to have a brand new office and an operations center that will run not only Pedro Plains but all the systems that we've had over the years. Additionally, the Pedro Plains Irrigation Project will come with agro-processing facilities that will be built and cold storage that will be built in the project area so that as we produce more, we can store and sell.
You should know that the French government gave a grant of 500,000 euros for the preliminary studies for the project, which was done by the Société du Canal de Provence. With schools closed and summer in full swing, concerns about child safety are front and center. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency is warning parents and guardians to remain vigilant, whether children are at home, online, or out in public. Danita Rodney has the details.
Summer may be a time for fun, but for children, it's also a period of increased risk, especially when left unsupervised. That's the message from Dr. Warren Thompson, Director of Children and Family Programs at the Child Protection and Family Services Agency. He was speaking on the latest episode of JIS's Get the Facts program. The CPFSA is encouraging parents to seek safe options like trusted relatives, summer camps, or structured daytime programs.
So it's good if you can, one, find a trusted adult who can take care of your child. So you're going to either leave the child with a neighbor. And when I say with a neighbor, I don't mean in your house with the neighbor next door watching.
Okay.
You can leave the child with the
Glad
neighbor.
you clarified.
Right.
Yes.
Leave the child with the neighbor, with another family member. If you can enroll the child in a summer school, a summer camp program, then do that. What you want is for the child to be supervised.
He also highlighted the importance of creating daily routines even during holidays.
Well, of course, there can be some free time,
right.
But children thrive better when there's structure.
Okay.
So there's someone who is going to ensure that the child, catches up on some reading. Of course, there's time to play, there's time to watch a little TV,
yeah.
But there is some kind of activity that is also building the child. Right, so I encourage parents all the time, if you can set a timetable for your child. So, between 9 and 10, you do some reading, catch up on some math, whatever it is. Then between 10 and 12, you watch a movie. At 12, you take a break, you have some lunch, whatever it is. Just set a structure for the child.
Dr. Thompson warned that supervision isn't just about physical spaces. Online activity is another concern.
So you have to be very careful about what the children are doing online. And sometimes it starts with a conversation. What does online safety look like? What is appropriate? What is inappropriate? And we encourage parents sometimes to enter into contracts with their children. So you can look online, you can find online safety contracts. Safekids.com is one website that offers one.
Right.
And you have the discussion and have your children sign it, and you sign it as well.
The CPFSA director also encourages families to report suspected cases of abuse or neglect. Mandatory reporting laws are in place, and failure to act carries serious penalties.
You can report by calling 211. It's toll-free, 24 hours, 211. And someone is on the other side of the line, to respond to your call and to take your report. Of course, you can walk into any CPFSA parish office and make a report, or you can send us a WhatsApp message at 878-2882, and somebody will respond to get that report.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
The Jamaica Defense Force will be conducting live firing exercises in the Twickenham Park Gallery Range and Green Bay Range, St. Catherine, over the period Tuesday, July 15th to Thursday, July 17th, 2025. The JDF is advising residents that there is no need to be alarmed by the presence of the soldiers, as the training exercises in their community will not involve any live firing and therefore will pose no danger. Residents are asked not to interfere with and/or move training aids. In the event that unexploded ordnances or paraphernalia are found, please report it to the JDF headquarters at telephone number 876-926-8121-9. That's 876-926-8121-9. Commuters can expect a smoother ride this summer as the Jamaica Urban Transit Company gets a fresh boost in its fleet. 30 brand new diesel buses rolled onto the island on Friday, and government officials say it's part of a wider plan to modernize public transportation. The 30 new ultra-low sulfur diesel buses arrived to the country to bolster the fleet of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company. The units were offloaded at Kingston Wharves Thursday morning and are expected to significantly enhance charter and express route services. The arrival is part of the government's broader plan to add 300 new buses to the JUTC fleet over a 3-year period. With this latest batch, the number of buses procured since the start of the 2023-2024 financial year now stands at 200. These state-of-the-art diesel coaches will be based at the Portmore Depot and are designed to support upgraded premium express routes. Their addition is expected to free up regular city buses, which can now be reassigned to help ease congestion on heavily traveled routes. Manufactured by Golden Dragon and procured through Vaughn's Motor and Company, the buses feature reclining seats, onboard USB charging ports, LED lighting, camera monitoring systems, and even massage seats for driver comfort. The fleet expansion will continue in the coming weeks, with 7 more CNG buses scheduled to arrive in August. The final batch of 100 buses is expected to land in 2026, completing the government's 3-year rollout. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, says point of sales transactions surged last year, jumping 28% to 84 million transactions valued at 1.1 trillion Jamaican dollars. That represents a 13.5% increase in the total value of transactions. When it comes to US dollar transactions, the PIOJ says there was a significant decline at point of sale terminals, with volume down by 27% to 3.1 million transactions and the value falling 32% to $590.6 million US dollars. On the other hand, US dollar transactions at ABMs increased, up 9% in volume to 1.1 million and 1.7% in value, totaling $343.3 million. American Airlines has announced plans to expand its operations in Jamaica later this year with more flights between the island and key U.S. cities. Starting December 18, the airline will double its service between Ian Fleming International Airport and Miami, offering 2 daily flights. It will also increase daily flights from Kingston's Norman Manley Airport to Miami from 3 to 4. Vice President of International and In-Flight Dining Operations, Jose Frigg, says the airline is excited to strengthen its presence in Jamaica. This summer, American Airlines is operating 15 daily flights into Jamaica from 3 U.S. cities, a 17% increase over last year. It also plans to offer 20 peak daily departures from Jamaica to 7 U.S. destinations, including Charlotte, Boston, Dallas, Fort Worth, New York, Miami, Chicago, and Philadelphia, representing a 20% growth in service. For the trading period ending July 11, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Alternative energy provider Wigton Energy Limited with 3,969,825 units traded, representing 18.83% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 3,635,903 units traded, representing 17.23% 25% of market sales volume. Logistics firm Mailpack Group Limited, with 2,942,333 units traded, representing 13.96% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rates set by the Bank of Jamaica. On July 11, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $37.61 million purchased and US $36.61 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $2.31 per dollar, selling the US at $161.20 and buying the US at $158.89. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $1.24 per transaction, with selling at $118.18 and buying at $116.94. The British pound yielded Forex traders $2.21 in profits, with selling at $216.97 and buying at $214.76. For our credit report tip of the day. As a solopreneur, you're used to wearing all the hats: marketing, operations, sales, fulfillment, admin, and everything in between. But there comes a point when doing it all starts to stall your growth. Whether you're ready to hire your first virtual assistant, outsource your marketing, invest in inventory, or upgrade your tools, you'll need cash flow to make that leap. The good news? You may already have a powerful financial asset working for you quietly in the background: your credit score. When used strategically, your credit score can become the bridge between hustle and scalability, giving you access to the capital, resources, and breathing room required to build a business that doesn't rely solely on your time and energy. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, the planned October launch of free movement between 4 CARICOM countries is drawing mixed reactions, especially concerns about crime and security. But Barbados' Foreign Minister, Kerry Simmons, is reassuring the public that safety is a top priority. He says systems are already in place to monitor arrivals, similar to those used during the 2007 Cricket World Cup. The agreement, involving Barbados, St. Vincent, Dominica, and Belize, is still open to others like Jamaica and Guyana, who support the idea, but say more work is needed before they sign on.
I want to say that Interpol, U.S. Customs Border Protection Agency, are the entities with whom we work, so that in many cases we are aware of people who have criminal convictions, we are aware of who has been suspected of certain types of activity, even as that person is about to board an aircraft. I don't, again, wish to dwell too much on matters of national security, but I want for the public to take into the confidence of, or I want the public to take us into their confidence that matters of security are top of mind as we go forward in this, and that the movement of people by legal means should not be seen as a threat or an impediment to the progress that we must make. There have been people who have moved in and out of Caribbean countries under cover of darkness and tried to get into the country without crossing borders officially. We know that that has happened, and we know that we have, therefore, to strengthen our coast guards. We know we have to have a regional security service that does the type of surveillance and lends us the type of cooperation, and it is a national security matter, so I will not go into detail about what the RSS does. But let me say that coming out of the heads meeting, There has been a strengthening of the RSS capacity, and Suriname is now on board, bringing with it more personnel and more technical capacity to serve this Southern CARICOM region.
It's a crash course in leadership, Parliament style. Under the guidance of Trinidad and Tobago's women parliamentarians, a group of young women took center stage in a mock sitting of the House, tackling one of the region's most pressing human rights issues, human trafficking. From urgent calls for stricter recruitment laws to emotional appeals about the lives impacted, the session marked the climax of the Young Women Empowered to Serve program, an initiative designed to prepare the next generation of female leaders with real-world legislative skills. Mahala Joseph Wharton has the story.
Held under the auspices of the Women Parliamentarians of Trinidad and Tobago, the Young Women Empowered to Serve leadership program is designed to prepare young women for leadership through exposure to real-world legislative procedures. Moving the motion was opposition leader Tahila Paul, who emphasized that human trafficking remains a critical public issue.
The lives of the vulnerable are stolen, leaving near irreparable damage on families and societies. In our discussions today, let us be reminded that behind every statistic is a cry for help. A human being, our silence and inaction is complicity. Due to an early call for the 2025 general elections and a subsequent change in government, we have been unable to complete our legislative agenda as projected.
The Prime Minister, Cheyenne Wade, emphasized that stricter regulations and ethical recruitment practices must be pursued. This as the government has seen human trafficking occur through fake job listings.
This is not the fight of one ministry. Under this government, we are not just responding, we are rebuilding a broken system to protect our vulnerable. So through you, Madam Speaker, allow me to address the nation of Trinidad and Tobago and say that we must now call human trafficking what it is, a system of violence, of exploitation and abuse. And
also contributing to the debate was the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West, Tahila Jeffrey, who said victims require special support from healthcare providers.
We need to include training for our frontline healthcare workers and implement addiction screening in our hospital systems. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, it is understandable that the counter-trafficking unit has done tremendous work. They have provided psychological services to victims, and they have included regional health authorities in working groups to help fight human trafficking.
At the end of the session, Acting Clerk of the House, Chantal LaRoche, reminded viewers that the participants had undergone several weeks of preparation in parliamentary procedure, etiquette, research skills, debate and artificial intelligence. The mock sitting marked the culmination of the leadership program aimed at equipping young women with the tools and experience to engage in national leadership and parliamentary affairs.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has provided an update on relations between the country and a number of African nations, including visa-free travel, following a series of engagement with African governments.
Yes, it is getting tighter between Grenada, the Caribbean, and Africa. And in fact, on the 28th and 29th of July, we have the Afrexim Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Summit taking place in Grenada. At the Radisson Convention Center, we are expecting over 900 delegates to be attending. A significant portion of them will be coming from the African continent. We're talking businessmen, business leaders, academics, professionals, heads of state and other senior government officials, both from Africa and the Caribbean. It is part of the growing partnership and the trend between Africa and its diaspora. On last Monday, I was in St. Lucia together with other OECS heads of government and other prime ministers to welcome His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, to St. Lucia. So that's evidence of the type of partnership that is taking place. At our 50th anniversary of independence, we had the then President of Ghana visit Grenada. I've since visited Abuja in Nigeria and Lagos as well, as part of the deepening of relationships between Grenada and many of the African countries. We are pursuing a deliberate policy of establishing diplomatic relations between the countries in Africa and Grenada. In addition, we are exploring reciprocal visa waiver agreements between Grenada and several African countries so that Grenadians can travel to Africa without a visa, and so that our brothers and sisters in Africa can visit Grenada without the need for visas. There's a significant opportunity for us to enhance and improve our tourist market by focusing on our brothers and sisters in Africa.
In sports, we open the innings with some cricketing news. Australia led a commanding 181 run over the West Indies by stumps on day 2 of the third test at Sabina Park, finishing on 99 for 6 in their second innings after bowling out the hosts for 143 earlier in the day. With the match finally poised, day 3 promises a gripping battle as the West Indies look to restrict Australia's lead and mount a chase on a pitch that has aided the bowlers. Still on cricket, West Indies Test captain Roston Chase remains tight-lipped on the final playing 11 for the upcoming day-night test in Jamaica, as his team continues to deliberate on key tactical choices influenced by pitch conditions and personnel balance. Here's more from Nasira Mohammed.
Windies skipper Roston Chase noted that the top order remains an area of concern when asked if the playing 11 for the day-night test in Jamaica had been confirmed.
Not as yet. Still some ongoing discussions, so not as yet. The top order is a bit of a concern, obviously not getting those good starts that we've been looking for, and then obviously with the spinner, the extra seamer going out and probably spinner coming back in.
One of the key decisions surrounds the bowling unit, with Chase hinting at a return for a spinner. The pink ball itself isn't a major factor in the selection debate, she said, but conditions are. As for the pink ball experience within the squad, Chase acknowledged that while not many have test caps under lights, there is some familiarity.
I mean, in a test match it's different, but the guys are accustomed playing with the pink ball. We have some first-class games with the pink ball, so the guys have had a bit of experience playing with the pink ball. But as I said, the test match is something different pressure, different style of play. But yeah, the guys are comfortable with it.
Reflecting on his first test series as test captain, Chase admitted the challenge of facing the world's #1 team.
We're Australia, you know, these guys are really relentless in terms of how they play their cricket, especially with the bowling lineup. They have most of the guys in the top 10. It's been tough, especially in the batting area, but I think the bowlers have held their own, so I'd like to commend them on that. We've been hitting the marks and we've been getting wickets early on, so that's a plus for us.
As for the lights at Sabina Park, Chase had a personal observation.
Yeah, they're bright, but I think they're a bit low for my liking. They seem a bit low, but it's what we have to work with, so we can't really come and complain about it or whatever. What is put in front of us, we have to deal with. Judging from past experience on different grounds with low lighting, it's a bit harder to pick up the drop zone of the ball, but I mean, we did a bit of feeling yesterday, and the guys look okay. No one really complained, but it's just my personal opinion. I think that
sustaining competitive play across 5 days remains a goal. The West Indies have been evenly matched with Australia in the early stages of both tests so far.
The guys are lacking a bit in the experience of that second innings, and I think we had a chat about the after lunch session. I think we were playing good cricket before lunch, but every time after lunch, whether it be batting or bowling, we tend to slacken off, and we can't seem to really put a finger on it as yet.
With the Sir Frank Worrell Trophy already lost, Chase insists this match still holds high value in the context of the ICC World Test Championship.
Every game is important because there's points for the game, so it's not only about winning the series, but you have to win matches to get that percentage up so you can be in contention to go forward in the table.
The third and final test begins under lights at Sabina Park at 1:30 p.m. Jamaica time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, where the West Indies hope to end the series on a high and build momentum in their World Test Championship campaign.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.